This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. So let's get started today's session. Yesterday we started Ansible. Today we'll continue with that. So yesterday we have seen how to set up some master in Ansible on one of the Linux machine, which is Ubuntu we have taken. And then we have created a node as well yesterday. Created a node and we established the connectivity between Ansible master and node machine, so that they can able to communicate with the help of SSH without any password. With the help of key pair based authentication, they both can able to communicate. So later on, we started using some ad hoc commands execution. So to create some user, to install some package, to check something in file system. Okay, a lot of things that we can do with the help of ad hoc commands. So later, there is a concept of playbooks. What is the use of playbooks? So add commands, we can, it will be difficult to maintain larger, some simple things we can do with the help of direct command. But if we need to do multiple tasks, okay, so at that time, it will be better to write a playbook. The playbook usually will be written in AML format. So if you write a playbook and if we execute that playbook by pointing to a specific instances over the inventory, maybe all or a group or one instance. So if you can execute that playbook, the specific actions will be performed on that particular set of instances. Okay. So the instances will get into the required state which we want. So followed by Ansible, there is a concept of roles is there. We'll try to cover that one as well. Roles is nothing but some predefined structure. How the in a playbook, each and everything we will define inside this playbooks, one YAML file only. All the tasks, all the variables that we are going to use, everything we will use inside one YAML file. But if you go to the roles, suppose if the playbook size is more and if there are number of tasks are more and there are multiple operating systems are there. Suppose let's say if your nodes all or not belongs to same category of operating system. Maybe some of them are Red Hat is there, some of them are Ubuntu is there, some of them are some different operating system platform is there. So at that time, it will be better to use the roles instead of direct playbooks. Okay, so in the playbooks, it will be better to use the role concept. So later roles, we have concept of conditions is there. Conditions is there. We have loops concept is there. Um, so these are the some important concepts in the Ansible. We will see one by one how to create some playbooks, roles, where we can use these conditions and loops inside the Ansible. So first, let me start my Ansible master and one of the node that we created in last session. So master and node one. These two I am starting. And yesterday we used private IP to copy the key pair from one server to the another server. Uh, and then in the host file also we have used private IP. Because if you select public IP by this time, the IP will get changed. For the instance, if we stop and start, the IP of the public IP will get rotated every time. So that's why we used private IP. So now in the host file, inventory file, it doesn't require to change the IP address. Okay, because the private IP will be kept as it is. So now let me try to log into my Ansible master using putty. Let me connect to my node server also. So this is my node and this is my master. Okay, so now we will see. Yesterday we have tried to execute some ad hoc commands on my master, and we verified whether that particular action is performed on the node machine or not. Okay, we have created one user and we check that user created or not with the help of ad hoc command. Today we will see creation of some users and installation of some packages like that. Some different tasks we will perform with the help of playbook. Okay. So first let me get some sample playbook, so which is already there. So usually the playbooks will be written in YAML format. Okay, so which can consist of some group of roles actually, so that we can use multiple roles inside the playbook. But for now, we will write a direct playbook without any role. Later we will see the roles concept and we can include role inside the playbook. So if you want to perform any playbook, first you have to write that playbook in the form of an YAML file. Um, so which should start with some three hyphens. This is the indication of some YAML file playbook. It will indicate that, yeah, here is the playbook starting. Okay. So after that, you should use one followed by giving some space. We should start writing from the third character onwards. There should be some syntax we have to follow, and all the tasks will be maintained like this. Suppose if you have multiple tasks, maybe task one, this is the task two, and then this is my task three. And for each task, if you can see what is the name of the task, you have to provide name parameter and what is the name of the task. You can provide whatever the name that you want, which will easily identify that particular task, or which will describe that particular task. And the task, we have to use the module. So yesterday in the ad hoc command, we have used user module, right, to create a user. So here user is nothing but a module. So the name is nothing but the task name. User is nothing but the module. Inside the module, we can use the arguments. Yesterday Ansible modules concept, I have opened some Ansible modules where we have seen the arguments that can user module supports, right? If we can go to the user, yep. So if you can see this users one, currently it is supporting all these parameters or arguments, whichever it is provided over here. Currently in my Ansible playbook, if you can see, I am using what is the name of my user, what is the password, state means whether absent or present, two values. So present means I want to create the user. Absent means once the user is there, I want to delete that user. Okay. So shell, what is the shell going to use for that? And system, not sure exact this parameter. You can get the description, some of the parameters, what it will do and all from this page as well. And next one, create home, whether you want to create a home path for that particular user. And what is the home path that you want? Slash home, maybe slash user one. Okay, like this, I want to create some home path. So you can repeat the same task. Here, if you can see, same task may get repeated three times. User 2 creation and then user 3 creation. So you can copy this playbook in one of the YAML files. Let me copy.
Funny,
Yeah,
based on the user, in the sense, based on this module, we can create a playbook, right?
user module. We can, yes, we can create a playbook. We can reuse that user module inside our playbook. wherever you want.
Okay, and what parameters we have to define so we can take those parameters from this user module, whatever the required parameters.
Yes.
Thank you.
So currently where we want to maintain that playbooks. Okay. So earlier we have used our playbooks. We have moved our config file, Ansible configuration file to some test folder, right? Let's go to that particular folder only. See, I went to that slash test path. Here we have the Ansible configuration file and the host file. So let's keep your Ansible file, sorry, playbook also in the same location. So nano, my first playbook, say first playbook dot yml. This is the file name that I am going to use to create my playbook. And inside that one, let me copy playbook content. Copy once again. So instead of defining three tasks, you can write first one task also. That particular user will get created. Okay. So Control O, enter, Control X.
And also a small silly
Sorry.
question. I never used Ubuntu, just I used to only Linux things. What is the one, once you open a file, what is the, we need to use the insert mode, right? What button we need to make it as active for the insert mode?
I I button we have to use. If it
Oh,
is a
same
VA
thing.
editor, if it is a VA
Yeah,
editor
VI.
or we have to
Uh,
use I.
uh-huh.
We have to click on I, then the insert mode will be open. So if it is a nano editor, directly we can go and we can write it. It doesn't
Oh,
require to.
directly. Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah,
thought we need to insert because when yes, I have knowledge on the Linux things, so that's why I was asking whether we need to give I or something like that. And before after saving the file, Control O and X to save the file, like Shift to colon something like that we have to use
yeah. One
for
minute. I haven't used sudo. That's why it is struck actually. Control X without saving to execute. Control X. Why it is not going out? So if you can see, currently I am using the Nano editor. So you can directly use the Nano editor. It doesn't require to enter something to edit the text. So automatically insert mode will be opened over here. You can try to paste something. If you want to save that, you have to use Control O. Then the file name will be displayed on the bottom. So we can see that. So if you want to rename the file name at the time, you can do that part. If you are okay with that, just click on enter followed by Control X to exit from the Nano editor. Now let me use sudo in order to, because we are writing in the slash path, right? We have to use sudo. First.yml I'll be using instead of the big name. So every time we have to use. Now let me copy the playbook once again. As you can see, my playbook got copied. Let me save it. Control O. At the time, it will ask file name to write is first.yml. If you are okay with that, just click on enter. Then you have to exit from the nano editor. You have to use Control X. So now my
okay.
playbook
Thank you.
got saved. If you can see ls first.yml, the file is there. And if you can see the content of the playbook, it is there. So now I want to execute that playbook. For that, you can see the command playbook Ansible hyphen playbook hyphen I. So what is the target location where you want to install this, where you want to execute these tasks? Suppose let's say hyphen I is the host and followed by I want to execute on all. Okay, whether my master server along with my node server, both the servers I want to execute this one, followed by what is your playbook name. Suppose let's say first.yml. followed by you have to give -b. Let me check that command once again before executing. If you can see Ansible -playbook, playbook name, not this one. This is just to verify the syntax of that Ansible, whether it is there are any syntax related errors, it will identify with the help of this command. But now we have to execute this command to execute the playbook. Okay, so Ansible -playbook -hi host, and it doesn't require to provide all also. Why? Because inside the playbook itself, we are maintaining now. What is your target? Inside the playbook, we are maintaining that. Here you can see host equals to all. This playbook I have written to install on all the machines of the host. That's why it doesn't require to provide all actually. Let me remove that one. So if it is a add command, uh, we have to give that option also, whether you want to execute this task on all or a particular machine and all. So now let me execute this one. If you can see, play equals to all means it is first gathering the target machines from the playbook. Now it is going to execute on all the machines. The next one, gathering the task means inside the playbook, whatever the task that we have written, right? So based on this host file, so it will check, okay, what actions that I need to perform. So these are the two machines that I need to execute my task. So what are the tasks? The first task is create user one. This is the task. So if you can see, it is executed on my node machine. It is executed on my master machine. It is executed on my node machine. This is my second task, create user two task. And every time if you are seeing the yellow color output, right, it is meant for there is something got changed, something got updated. Means now the users are created. That's why it is showing in yellow color. So if it is showing in OK state and if it is showing in some green color, means that it is already there in the required state. Means suppose let's say if the user one is already there, at the time it will not give this yellow color. It will give in green color and it will say the status as OK. Means already the required state or required task got executed kind of thing. Already the user is presented. It doesn't require to execute one more time. Okay, so like that, now user one is not there, user two is not there, user three is also not there on the systems. So it is executed and created the users. So if you want to verify the users list, you can see cat/etc password in this path where you can see the users list. On the bottom, if you can see, along with the Ubuntu user, yesterday we created a test user, and followed by now we created user 1, user 2, and user 3. And for all those users, it got some home path as well. Okay, this is how the users got created. Now let me go on verifying the node machine whether my users are created or not. Without login to node machine also, with the help of some addo command, we can check that part. Okay, yesterday we did, right? Like that, if you want, you can do that part. Now anyway, my machine is open, so let me check directly. You can see user 1, user 2, user 3 are created. Okay, so now let me modify the playbook. Same playbook, sudo nano first playbook.yml is there, right? Let me try to modify it. What will happen if you can see? So now user 1, user 2, I want to keep it. User 3, I want to delete it. So you can come to the state and you can make this present as absent instead of keeping this as present. If you can make this as absent, then the user will get deleted. Control O, enter, Control X. The file got saved. Now same command execute it. Ansible -playbook -hi host file. The playbook name is first.yml and followed by hyphen. If I execute this one, if you can see task one, creation of the users, it is already there. That's why it is showing okay. It doesn't require to do anything on this machine. Already the user is created. Already the user is created. So that's why it is skipping. It is not doing anything on these two tasks. So task three, the user is created. Just actually we have to rename the task, delete user kind of renaming we have to do, but I have kept as it is. Here, actually, what we are trying to do, we want to delete the user because we maintain the state equals to option means your intention is to delete the user. Okay. So deleting the user means currently the user is there. Now it is deleted. That's why some action is performed. It will display it as changed. Okay. So sometimes if the machine is not reachable, maybe the IP got rotated, at the time it will show how many got unreachable. Suppose if you are trying to do some action on hundreds of servers, it will display how many things are already in the required state, how many things are executed now successfully, how many things servers are not reachable, how many servers it got failed, okay, because of some issues, how many things got failed, how many things are skipped actually. So like that, you can able to see the some summary kind of thing in the bottom. Okay. So now let me see some more playbooks, like some installation of some packages and all instead of creating the user. Suppose let's say there is a Nginx package I want to install. Anything that you want to install on uh, the Ubuntu platform, you have to use apt module, apt or apt-get command you have to use. Similarly, apt module is there in Ansible, like how we are using apt install Ansible. Similarly, the apt module is there in order to install some packages. Currently, I am planning to install Nginx. Nginx is a web server. If you want to make your server as a web server, you have to install Nginx on that. Now I want to install Nginx. For that, what is the name of your package that you are going to install? What is the state? State equals to you can maintain present or you can maintain absent. If it is present, it is trying to install. If it is absent, it is trying to uninstall. Similar to the user. If user present is there, it is going to create the user. If user state is absent, then it will delete the user. Similarly, instead of in case of packages, in case of apt module, if state is present, it will install the package. If state equals to absent, it will uninstall the package. So next there is one more module I am using. See, apt is the module to install some package. And the next task is Nginx. Nginx package got installed, but I want to start that particular service of the Nginx. For that service is also one module. If you can go to here, let me go back to one step. If you can go to apt apt apk is there apt, which will manage the packages. If you can see, I want to install some packages. For that, this apt will be helpful. If you can go through the documentation, what is the some name will be there for sure. See, name is there. What is the package name that you are going to use? And some state is there. State is multiple options are there. In user only we have two options, present or absent. But here we can use present, we can use absent, we can use latest also. Latest is nothing but whenever you use apt module, if you use state as latest, it will try to download the latest version of that particular package. Suppose if you use fixed, you are going to download some fixed version of the package. You know some version and you want to download the particular version. At the time you can use fixed. Suppose if you don't know the version, what is the latest version of Nginx, you can you can directly use the latest one. It will try to download some latest version so that you can get some description over here. You can go through that one. You can get some idea. So this is how you can use apt module. Let me try to run that playbook to install Nginx and to check whether that Nginx service started or not. So that this is the one of the playbook that I'm trying to write. So inside the playbook, most of the playbooks, if you can see, this part is common, which will be helpful to gather the the first one you know already. Uh, Inside the inventory file, what are the machines that I am targeting to install my task? Okay, what are the target machines that I am going to execute my tasks? Become true, become method sudo, become user root. These things will be helpful So you want to execute that Ansible playbook as a root user kind of thing. So gather underscore facts equals to true, which will be helpful to gather some the task here we are getting, right. In order to display the task list, here you can see this one. In order to do this particular one, you can able to add that particular uh, option over here. These are common, mostly we will try to use, but these will get changed in the task. Whatever you are going to do, what particular task, that will get changed. So
In a
let
real-time
me
scenario, we can use the above one always funny host
above
all.
one.
I mean
Yes,
the host
yes,
in the sense it depends on the requirement which ever
yes,
the host it needs to deploy.
yes. While writing the playbook only, we will know, right? Suppose, let's say, I'm trying to install some package, but I
Mhm.
want to install on some set of machines. At the time, you can create a group inside the host file with that set of machines, and you can use that group name. Suppose you want to
Okay.
execute the playbook only for a
Mhm.
particular server. You know that IP
Mhm.
address of the
Yeah,
server. You can directly give that IP address over here
got
instead
it.
of all.
Okay. No, my earlier the question was like, yeah, I understand that, but just we can use the above one to most of the scenarios in all cases in a real-time scenario.
Yes. Depending on the use case. If you want to execute on all, you have to use all. But sometimes you don't execute on all. Maybe you don't want to do that action on all the missions at the time. You will create a separate group of the host missions inside the host file, and you will target that particular group.
Yeah, in that sense, we can say in the inventory file, we can define whatever the host we need
Yes,
and define those things
yes,
in the host file. Yeah.
yes. And one more thing, usually in the organizations also, they will not keep this host file inside the machine directly. So they will put this one in one of the code base only. There will be some code base in GitHub they will maintain. Inside that one only, they will from their local machine how we are doing making the code changes, right? Like that, they will add the all the host machines, and they will try to push that code to the GitHub account. Git add, git commit followed by git push. They can push that latest code. So in the machine itself, they will try to pull in the Ansible master. Whenever you are trying to execute some playbook, right? At the time, they will pull that latest host file from the code base to the path. Suppose, let's say, currently in test one, directly I'm keeping the host file here. But going forward or in the organization, they will keep this host file in the code base, and you will update that code base. Suppose, let's say, now I want to execute my new playbook. That playbook also you will write in your local machine instead of this
Got it,
directly
got it.
log into
Yeah.
this Ansible master. You will write that playbook, and you will maintain that latest host file, which will add some new set of IP addresses of the machines, and that will be pushed to the GitHub. In the runtime, whenever you are trying to execute the playbook, right? Maybe the playbook execution also, they will use some Jenkins job to execute the playbook, or they will use some other option to execute that Ansible playbook. At the time, it will download this latest host file. Maybe they can put in S3, or they can put in one code base. At the
Mhm.
time, it will download the latest host file. So now we are need to execute the second playbook. Let me copy that one to install some Nginx packages. And sudo nano my second dot yml. Let me give the name as second. Copy it. Control O, enter, Control X. I'm saving the file. Let me execute this one. Instead of first dot yml, I want to execute my second dot yml. It is trying to execute the task, installing some packages on the and installing that Nginx package on one by one server. First, it will try to execute on one server, later one server. Once it is executed, if you can see, the first one is it is trying to install one. Next one is start Nginx service. Maybe at the time of installation itself, the service is already up and running. That's why it is okay state. It doesn't change any service status and all. So that's why it is showing okay state. Suppose at the time of installation, if that Nginx is in stopped state, maybe this task is help to start that service status. Then at the time it will show the change. So now if you want, you can verify whether that Nginx is up and running or not. How to verify that Nginx service? You can do two things. One is you can directly check the service status inside the instrument. Service Nginx status command you can use. Now you can see the service is active and running. And you can go to your node server also. You can check the service Nginx status whether it is, yeah, now both are up and running. Other way is by default Nginx will run on 8080 port like Jenkins. Okay, so you can copy this one, the public IP, and you can paste in the browser Ansible IP and use 8080 port. By default it won't work. Why? Because the 8080 port is not opened in the firewall. So let me go to the security group of this Ansible master. Try to open that security group. Edit inbound rules. If you can add that 8080 port
I have a
to
question for you.
edit,
Instead, where we can create a empty file, I mean, create a file and point out to that we can do that in this one.
uh, empty file means I didn't get
Like
your question.
whenever we open the port number, right? There, so it can be shown like welcome screen, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, we can do
And it
that.
where WHTML in that location
Yes,
where we can go and
yes.
create an empty in that. How can we do that?
In Nginx, I think there will be one default location if you can get. Now it will
Where
take
the
some time.
where slash www slash
Yeah,
html.
yes. In that location, you can try to keep one sample HTML file, some welcome message kind of thing, by using some H1 tag or H2 tag. Um, it will auto instead of displaying normal welcome message, normal this Nginx page. Now it is not displaying. That's why it should work. Let me check.
Do
I
we need
have.
to you open the port also on the Nginx side? Like, is it,
Yeah, I have opened, right? The 8080 port.
I mean the firewall should be opened on the, I mean on the application level of the Nginx, like where we
Not
define the Ansible, those all the things Nginx. We need to
not required.
open the port.
Not required usually. Custom TCP.
HTTPS, right? That needs to be.
HTTPS also not be used because we haven't added any certification, the SSL certificate and all.
Mhm.
But HTTP should be automatically considered.
No, no, I mean in the near the security group where we are just we created a custom TCP, right? Instead of that, we give HTTP something HT.
Mm,
Is that
So HTTP if you can use for 80 port. Suppose if you use HTTP, it will be by default will be the 80 port.
okay?
So 80, 80 and remaining all are some custom ports that we can able to use it. These are some
Oh,
standard ports. HTTP, HTTPS is 443. This SSH is 22. These are some standard ports. Okay, but anyway, you were able to get it right. So now the service is up and running without installing the Nginx manually. Now the Nginx is running, uh, but we have to debug why that the welcome page kind of Nginx also some welcome page is there. So why that is not displaying? But this is how if you want to install any package. So just you can get that package command, how you want to install that package, what is the version of that package currently available, so that you can reuse any package name over here instead of Nginx. And if you want to keep some latest version, you can use latest, or if you know some fixed version, you can use fixed here, and you can specify one more parameter, what is the version, exact version that you want who have. So this is how you can install Nginx. Now let's say I want to uninstall the Nginx. So same, let me quit this one. Same nano editor you can update And inside that, instead of present, you can keep it as absent. And for service, actually, the state is started and stopped. Started and stopped. These two things you have to use. For service, you can, if you go to the service module where you can find that one. If you want to start your service, you want to use started. And if you want to stop that one, you need to use stopped. So that particular service will get stopped. So now I want to let completely uninstall. Okay, if you want to uninstall, for that you can directly remove this one service. I don't want to keep it, this second task, and this one, instead of present, let me try to uninstall my Nginx. Control O, enter, Control X. Now let me execute the same previous command, second playbook execution. So here actually you can write the task name, you can rename the task name in such a way that uninstall package Nginx, so that it will display some proper meaning when we are doing uninstalling operation. And now if you can check the service one, service Nginx status, till it is up and running. If you can see the task, it got changed. Let me check what is the option to uninstall. State equals to, I think, absent only. Latest the desired package, latest ensures. Here also, if you can see some sample examples, if you want to install Apache, where what you want to use, they have maintained for uninstalling absent only. Actually, we have to use. And along with the uninstall, Nginx will download some packages, right, in one of the location. So we have to delete that thing also. Suppose, let's say, if it is keeping some Nginx related package in one of the location, uh, that particular location we have to remove the files also in the file system. Somehow we can do that part as well. I haven't tried that. So we can try to remove that particular packages, so that it won't existed inside our system. That Nginx package, it won't get existed. Let me try to check that one. Playbook to uninstall Nginx. See, Nginx and option we can use, and then we can use Nginx and service also. They are trying to stop, I think. Okay, let me try to rename the playbook. Let me try to rename it. So here I want to define one more task saying that stop service, stop Nginx service. You have to keep proper indentation. Name and apt both should be in one line. So here I want to use service, the module name, and inside the service, the arguments, parameters, we should keep at least 1 or 2 character space, and we should start. Suppose name will be Nginx, and it should be stopped. Control O, enter, Control X. Let me try to execute. So stopped, it happened something, but uninstalling one, it doesn't done anything. Let me check the service. You can see now the service is stopped. But to completely remove this Nginx installation thing, so wherever that Nginx service getting installed, right, some path it will get installed, that complete package also you can delete it from that location. For that also deleting something from the file system, there should be some command or some ad hoc commands also there, right? So with that, you can able to remove the content in one particular location as well. Okay. So with that, completely from the Nginx related stuff will get deleted from the server. Okay. So along with that, I have written one more playbook which will avoid some repetition of the task. Suppose let's say earlier we have created three users, user one, user two, user three, but every time we have written some 7 to 8 lines of code, right, to repeat creation of the user one, user two, and user three. Instead of doing that repeat kind of operation, where we can use the concept of with items. Okay, so if you use the concept of with items, where you can able to reuse the code, existing code itself we can reuse instead of doing the same task again and again. We can use this item concept wherever your same activity you are doing. Suppose let's say um, the first task name create user one, right, for me, and here slash home slash user one. So in user one place, next time what will happen? User two will comes. Next time user three will comes. So you can pass that user one, user two, and user three like this with underscore items. How many users that you want to create? You can pass those usernames in the bottom, and whichever the part it is repeating, wherever you want to create that user, at the time you can keep the item value, so that what will happen, user 4 will be replaced with item here, and here the task will get performed. Next time user 5 will be replaced uh, in these two locations, and the task will be performed. Same user 6 also. Let's see how it will work. So sudo nano, I'm going to create third playbook, third.yml to my playbook. So now this time I am trying to use user 4, user 5, and user 6. Okay. But here the drawback of this model is, so let's say now I am planning to create user 4, user 5, user 6. If you are trying to do all the activities, so all the user creation only, at the time you have to use present only. You can't delete a particular user with this. Similar kind of tasks only we can do with the help of with underscore item. Suppose next time I want to keep user 4 and user 5, but I want to delete user 6. In this model it won't be possible. If you use state equals to option, all the users will get deleted. If you use state equals to present, all the users will get created. And one more thing, so now here I'm setting some password, right? The same password will be set for all the users. It is not possible to set some different password for the individual user. Those are some drawbacks kind of thing. Whichever it is helpful, you can use that way. Like writing the more number of lines or reusing the code which you. So now Control O, Enter, Control X. I'm saving the file and I'm trying to execute my playbook instead of my second playbook. This time I have written my third playbook. So I'm trying to execute that one. Same users creation will be happened in one task only completely. So the task name is create users. So all the users got created. If you want to see cat slash etc password. If you can see user 4, 5, and 6 got created. And if you can go to the slave mission, node mission, there also if you can observe that cat slash etc slash password. Okay, so all the users got created. Now let me try to modify my playbook nano third.yml. What I'm trying to do, instead of doing on all the missions, let's say every time, I'll be trying to do. I think yesterday we created nodes is the group name. Uh, so I want to execute this time only on the node mission. Okay. So node mission, I want to delete the users. Option Control O, Enter, Control X. Now if I execute my playbook, same playbook, so the users, three users created on my node server get deleted. it won't delete on my master server. Okay, so you can check on master server first. The users won't be deleted. You can see still user 4, user 5, user 6 is there on my master server. And here, if you can see, user 4, user 5, user 6 got deleted. Okay, this is how you can do some changes over there. So next one, let's say I am trying to install some packages, group of packages along with the Nginx. Maybe I want to install some tree package. I want to install some MySQL server, or I want to install some other stuff. So like that, multiple things you can able to use it here also. Okay, but there what will happen? Here apt module will comes and name place, the package name will comes. For that also you can use items. You got it, right? Let me try to write one sample playbook. I won't get execute, but I'll try to write sudo nano. So fourth playbook I'm trying to write. So my intention is here, instead of users creation, let's say if I want to install multiple packages, not users creation. Let's say I want to install some tree. Tree is one kind of package in Linux which will be helpful. And let's say net tools is there. This is one package which needs to be get installed. Let's say Nginx is there. This is one package. So like that, you can define all your packages which needs to get installed. And here, instead of giving this name of the task as install multiple packages. And the next one here, you instead of user module, I can use apt module. And here in place of package, you can keep the item as it is. But in apt module, we don't have any password argument, right? Just remove that one. So we have state one is there, so you can keep it as present. Rest of the fields we don't need in packages one. Just delete.
And also, can you please show like the database and then how to copy a file from one location to another also, funny if you won't mind.
Yeah, sure. But for that, you have to use, there is one more copy module is there, copy or add module, something is there. Just you can try to use that one. Let me check copy or add. Yeah, not copy. Yeah, see, copy files to remote locations where you have to define some source location and destination location. Um, Somewhere source and destination or something parameters will be maintained. Yeah, SRC will be the source. Where is your current one? And remote source. Where is your destination? These two things that you can use it from the source location to the remote source location. I think there is no destination one. This is the one we have to use. Source also, I think it is mandatory. Source is not mandatory because we can use destination is mandatory because some from one location definitely you need to copy to some other location, right? Here destination is mandatory. We can see source one, current path if you have existed or some other path you have existed, just you can keep that particular path also. We can try if you want.
Yeah, and also I have a question. When we are copying a file from one location to the, we need to create a folder level and create a file in the source, and then do we need to go and create in the destination location? We have to go create a folder level and then copy it, or it can, for example, like here we
It can
can
everything.
directly.
It can take it. Creating the folder also we can do it. Suppose simply copying this to some other different subfolder, folder maybe inside that some subfolder into that location if I want. I think it will take care. If not, you have to first create a repository. For that also creating a folder also, some module will be there for sure. So we have to identify that depending on our use case, which module that will suits for our use case. First, we have to identify that module. We can try to reuse that module.
Okay, fine. I'll
So
try to
now,
figure it, play around
yeah.
tomorrow.
So here you can see, right? So now apt module I'm using, but I want to repeat multiple packages installation. For that, I am trying to use item. And the next one, I need to start some of the services in that. So what is the name of my second task? So this is my second task, starting the services kind of task name. And here the module name that I am going to use is service module. And inside that, what are the parameters that I can use? Name is the one parameter. So in place of name, I can specify within the double quotes the item value only. Hmm. This is how you can define. And what we have to do, we have to start the service, because some of the things we can't able to start actually. Suppose let's say Nginx, we can start the service once it got installed. NetTools, it doesn't require to any start service and all. So depending on that, we have to use whether item here, or we have to manually directly use the Nginx service. That you can think it. You got it right. Suppose Nginx service, once we install, we have to
Yeah,
start that
I
service.
got, yeah, yeah. It's a web server. We do that. Yeah,
Yes,
NetTools
yes.
is like a
Some
configuration.
yes, some of the things it is plain configuration things. It doesn't require to start. So at the time we'll get some failures if you use item instead of item. Simply directly you can use the Nginx package only, so that it won't repeat the second task multiple times.
Okay.
Suppose here directly the service name. Let's say I want to keep Nginx, and the state is started. Something like this we can use. Control O, enter, Control X. Not sure whether it will execute, but it will execute, but sometimes we'll get mistakes. We have to debug, but I'll try. Some mistake is there. See, we can easily identify in which task we are getting that error also. Now we are getting the task in this one, saying that the task includes an option with an undefined variable. What is that? Item. Item is there, right? Error appears to be in the fourth line, column number 7, where is install multiple packages. Item I already
Column
defined.
7, it is the fourth dot YM in the set.
Sorry.
It is telling like a item, yeah, and it is I couldn't clearly see because the screen is little bit small. So
Mhm.
stay-
Uh, this one syntax also we have to properly check. I think double quotes, double spaces open. After that, one space, something like we have given correct only. Let
with
me
the
check whether
syntax itself.
I haven't maintained that playbook, I think,
Okay.
and tried with multiple packages, but we can try that also for sure. By using with items, how to install multiple packages if we get something, you can get it, but maybe this item declaration or something, it is not identifying.
It's showing error over there itself.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay, go Control X. The task includes an option with an undefined variable item. We define the item with
And the
underscore
error
item.
was item is underlying in the slash. It's showing the error was item something. There it is showing in the column 7, line
Yeah,
9, column 7. Yeah,
that is the location of that item only where we have defined, right? It is saying that in the ninth line means this is the one only. So this is the
yeah.
one it is saying, but maybe defining this one something seems to
Maybe
be an issue. But this is how you can able to reuse the same task to get repeated multiple times by using with underscore items. This is the concept that I am going to give you an idea. With underscore items here, column is there. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think we defend perfect only, but something we have to debug over here why it is getting failed and all. So I want to proceed instead of debugging this one. The next concept is I want to cover roles concept. So how we can able to use the roles? So what is the use of roles? So currently in the playbook, we are defining some variables. If you can see the playbook, these are the variables and these are the tasks. Okay, these are the tasks. Like that, everything that we are defining in one AML file only. But if you can go to roles concept, so this is how the playbook will look like. Everything will be there. The first everything will be maintained. But in the bottom, instead of task, we will maintain roles. What is the role name? So the entire tasks content will be maintained inside this role one. But how to create that role one? Here, if you can see, creating that role one, you can use this command sudo ansible hyphen galaxy init role one. With this, we can create a role name role one, and you can go to that role one. There will be a folder called tasks. Inside the task, you can define your task. Instead of writing all the tasks in one YAML file, you can create multiple task files like this. Suppose let's say sudo nano nginx.yml. This is one task file. In this, I am going to do one task. What is the task? Installing the nginx package and starting that nginx service. Similarly, I am creating one more task file which is called user.yml. Here I am trying to I am trying to create some users. So these two tasks where I will define, there is one more file which is called main.ml. Inside that main.ml, whatever the task files that I want to execute, that I have to define like this, import task like this. So first it will start the execution from the main.ml. First the playbook execution only, it will comes from here. Like this it will come. It will go to the roles. At the time it will go to the roles, and inside the task folder, it will try to identify the main.ml file. In the main.ml file, first it is trying to import the task user.ml, and it will go to the user.ml, and it will start the execution of this one, and again it will come to the main, and it will next task will get executed. If that nginx.ml is there, that particular nginx .ml file also get executed. So
You
if
are
you want to,
creating like
yes,
multiple YAML files instead
yes,
of one. You are creating
instead of
like
one,
like a Terraform, like in a folder, like a variable dot providers, how they do the same thing kind of stuff. Like
yes. So in order to reuse some existing roles, there is a website which is called Ansible Galaxy, galaxy.ansible.com. Here, some of the roles which are predefined already, we can able to reuse it. There is a search option. Yeah, here you can see some search option. Suppose let's say I want to install some Nginx, for example. But with the help of Ansible, I want to install. There are different authors that they will try to contribute some roles. If you want, we can, like GitHub, this website where we can write some roles and we can contribute to this one so that others can able to reuse it. Suppose I want to use some official websites also. They will try to push something over here. Suppose Nginx official websites, some MySQL official websites. They'll try to maintain some roles which is related to that. Suppose if you can identify some Nginx official website where you can see some lot of downloads or lot of things will happen on top of that one. Suppose let me try to use any one sample one. So if you want to download the existing role inside Ansible Galaxy, you can open that particular role. You can see this command, Ansible-Galaxy. This is the command that you can able to execute in your Ansible master, where it will download that role name. So usually I'll try to use one role. Let me try to search for that one. There is one author. This is the one. I'll go to search, and I'll try to directly search for that author who written that. Yeah. So this is the one, Nginx. In order to install Nginx, in order to do some other things, earlier I have tried with this one where it is working for different operating systems. Nginx installation within the single role itself they have maintained. So if you can try to use this one in my Ansible master, let me execute that one, Ansible-Galaxy install that role name. It will download the role, but it won't keep in the current path. If you can see, you don't see that Ansible role download to the current path. It will get downloaded to this location /home/ubuntu dot Ansible. Inside that roles folder will be there. There, that particular role name it got downloaded. Let me go to that particular part to see how it will look like.
What is the difference like between a Terraform and Ansible? Ansible, we are where we are also going to do same kind of stuff, right? In Terraform, and Ansible also we are doing.
No, Terraform majorly will be helpful for provisioning the infrastructure. If you want to create some resources on any cloud platform, where you will write some AML files or JSON files. Sorry, I think in Terraform AML files only, but in cloud formation we can try to use JSON or AML files.
Yeah,
So we can execute that one so that the infrastructure will get created and some state will be maintained. Whenever you are changing that code, based on that, the state file will get updated to maintain
yeah,
the existing state and all. But
exactly.
Ansible will be helpful once the infrastructure is created with the help of Terraform or CloudFormation, any of the resources. I want to do some configuration change on that particular infrastructure. Maybe I have to install some packages. I want to download some stuff from the internet. I need to make some changes to some folders. I need to copy some stuff. So all that configuration, maintenance, setup, and all will be done with the help of Ansible.
Thank you. Yeah,
So now if you can see the ls command, here you are able to see there is a defaults, there is a handlers, there is a meta, molecule, tasks, templates, variables. So like that multiple folders are there. So instead of defining your variables inside the playbook, you can define inside this role. Instead of defining the task inside the AML file, you can define it over here. If you can see the task where multiple tasks they maintain. Suppose one main file will be maintained for sure inside the task where the execution will start from this main file. Inside the main file, so when I need to use this AML, when I need to execute this AML, they will maintain inside this main file. If you can see, if I want to install Nginx on my Ubuntu, actually this needs to be called. But when this will be called inside the main file. If you can see the main file content. So I want to install in main file they have written in such a way that see yeah. So include task. In main file, they will maintain include task. I want to include this file, AML file, Red Hat related installation. They maintain in a separate file. That file I want to execute. At the time, you have to use this one. Include task is that AML file name. But how it identify whether this particular operating system is a Red Hat with the help of this when condition. So I told you conditions also we'll discuss, right? So this is the concept. So conditions are nothing but whenever if you want to execute your task on a specific operating system. So how it will identify by using the when condition. When Ansible underscore OS underscore family, if it is equals to Red Hat, then I want to execute my task. When Ansible underscore distribution, suppose in Ubuntu they will use distribution. In Red Hat they'll use Ansible underscore OS family. Something it will vary depending on the operating system, but we have to use that condition so that this particular Ubuntu installation guide get executed on only Ubuntu platforms, and this particular Debian installation guide will get executed only on the Debian operating system platforms. Suppose FreeBSD, OpenBSD, Red Hat, Ubuntu, CentOS, like that multiple Linux operating systems are there. So on only that particular node it needs to get executed. Earlier we don't have an option, but now with the help of this when condition and by verifying some condition, you can able to execute that particular task on that operating systems only. Okay. So now let me go out of the tasks, and if you can see some variables, let me go to variables folder. Here also maybe Red Hat related variables I want to define over here. Ansible related, FreeBSD related variables that I want to define. Like that individual variables they have defined in a separate YAML file also that can be reused in the task of that Nginx one. See, inside the task for the Red Hat related YAML file will get executed, right? There, this one will be used. These variables are used. So this is how, if you want to define some variables or if you want to define some tasks, so templates is also there. Templates is nothing but copying some content from one location to another location. At the time, templates will be used instead of variables. If I can go back, if I'm going go to templates, let me try to open any one of the template. It will be some, these are called some ginger templates. So this will be helpful if I want to copy something from one location to another location, or if I want to do such kind of operations. At the time it will be helpful. So, but now I don't want to stress more on this point, because mostly we will use tasks and variables. And one more option we need to know, handlers, because interviews they may ask this question: what is meant by Ansible handlers? So handlers are nothing but tasks only, but these things will be performed if we call that particular task, then only it will get executed. Suppose task means if you maintain the task and inside the main.yaml, if you include that particular task, it will get executed for sure. But handler means we will write that particular handler, but it won't get executed automatically. So in one of the tasks, you need to call that handler, then only that will get executed. Let me go to handlers. You can see, I think there is no handlers defined inside this. Yeah, there are some handlers defined. Uh, and if you can see the handlers, I'm going to restart the Nginx. Restart the Nginx is nothing but this is one of the name of the task. Okay. So the name of the task that I am calling over here. So I'm calling means at the time the task is going to get executed. Inside the handler, if I perform some task name, if I given some task name, the task name will get executed at some, suppose let's say if the service is kind of restarted, I want to do, if the service is stopped, let's say, okay, suppose name equals to nginx, if the state equals to stopped, for example, if the state of the nginx is stopped at any time, then I want to call that particular task so that it will restart my nginx server. So at the time I want to do this action. Suppose here I want to execute this command. Command is also one type of module. You can see what arguments it can take. So I want to execute this command. But when I need to execute, so that will be maintained over here. At the time, this name of the task will be called and it will get executed. Okay. Suppose here also, if you can see, some whenever the my nginx service got started, at the time it will try to reload that nginx kind of thing, some changes related to configuration files and all, in order to reflect these things will be helpful. So finally, handlers are nothing but defining some task when it needs to get executed and all. Okay, so we will call a particular task to get executed at some particular time. So that we can call it as an handler. Now I'll go back to my test folder because I want to create a role. Uh, with that, we can complete our today task, today's session. Just spend 5 more minutes. Yeah. So now what we did, we have tried to download one of the role, right, from the Ansible Galaxy. But instead of that, now I want to create my own role. How to do that one? This is the command. First, I am going to create one role. Later, I'll try to use that role inside my playbook. So I'm creating role one. But the role one will get created here only. If I create a role, if I download some roles, it will be by default stores in this location, home, Ubuntu, Ansible roles. But if I create a role, it will be maintained in this one only. Suppose if you can go to that role, you can see the entire folder structure will be created automatically. But this is empty folder structure. Means, suppose if I go to tasks location, Only main file will be maintained. The main file doesn't contain any doesn't have any content. Just some three hyphens will be maintained where we have to write our own tasks. Okay, some empty folder structure will be maintained whenever you created a role. Inside that we have to write our own tasks. So now I have created a role. So I can go into the role, I can go to the task, and I can start creating some tasks. Okay. So let me create this task as nginx.yaml. Sudo nano nginx.yml. So this is my task name, task content, control O, enter, control X. If you can observe clearly, here just we are defining tasks only. We are not defining that hosts equals to all, that entire thing we will not maintain because that thing will be maintained later in the playbook. Actual playbook, we will maintain that one. So in playbook, we will maintain roles. Just we will maintain only the tasks format. We will maintain three hyphens. Along with that, the tasks declaration will be maintained. And we will not define again tasks over here. Directly, the task names will be maintained. So now I created one inside my role one, inside my task, I defined nginx.yaml. Similarly, user.yaml, one more YAML file that I am creating, which is user.yaml. Sudo nano user.yaml control O, enter, control X. Now, if you can see, I have two YAML files created. One is to install some packages and other one is to create some users. Like that, if you have multiple tasks needs to be performed, you can create multiple YAML files. But how it will get executed? If I add these file names inside my main file, then only it will get executed. How to define that one? Like this. Open your main.yaml file, sudo nano main.yaml. Inside that, here I can define, but define both in one line. Sorry, both in proper format. Then Control O, enter, Control X. Okay, now I have maintained my main file also. Now what I can do, I can create a playbook which will include my particular role. Okay, so let me create my fifth playbook. So where I have to create the playbook, don't create that inside the task. You have to create that in your normal test folder where you are creating earlier playbooks, right? In that path you have to create. So sudo nano fifth dot yaml. So copy the content, the playbook, and I am trying to use the role name. Control O, enter, control X. Now you need to execute this playbook. Execution of the playbook, same command. Earlier we used, right? Ansible hyphen Ansible hyphen host followed by the playbook name is fifth playbook, right? So fifth.yaml hyphen b. So now there is some error. If you can see that the offending line appears here, role one. There is some error.
Yeah, roll one it is showing throwing there.
Yeah. So okay, the mistake is here we created role as role hyphen one, but here I defined it as role one instead of hyphen.
Oh,
Okay, let me go and update my playbook so that it is pointing to role hyphen one. Control O, enter. Let me execute same command. Now this time some different exception if you can see. So it is able to identify the role. So inside the role main, it is going to task folder and it is see inside the role it is going to task folder and first it is going to main.yaml. Inside the
main.
main we defined nginx YAML. So in Nginx YAML, it is throwing some exception. Yeah, the exception is here name is maintained here, but apt is maintained after one character. If you can see, there is a space. So both should be start at the same indentation. Maybe that's why. Let me go to cd roll one inside. Sorry, cd roll one inside the roll one tasks, and here what is that file name? Nginx
Dot. Yeah.
nano nginx. Yeah. So currently, if you can see here, both the name and apt are not started at the same location. We have to use like this. And the remaining parameters, just you can try to keep in the proper indentation. So
How can we if it is like sometimes we couldn't even how to
yeah, it
identify
will
in
be
the first
yeah,
place?
it will be difficult here, but just use some Sublime Text or Visual Studio Editor.
Okay.
There you can write the code. It will give you clearly which line you are and which uh, column you
Yeah,
are
Visual
also.
Studio code I have idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be good actually instead of
Yeah, so we can write it over there and copy it here.
yes. So I'm keeping all the parameters also in the same line. All these four parameters should be in one format, and all these four should be in one format, and these two hyphens should be in one line. Now Control O, enter Control X, execute. Fifth playbook. Okay, so now I'm not there in correct path. If you can see, I'm there at test roll one task. So here I don't have any playbook, right? That's why it is throwing this exception. Let
Yeah, and it
me
should
go.
be on the test folder, right, to execute that.
Yes. So here I have my test fifth .yaml is there. Let me execute that command. Now if you can see, now this time it is getting executed successfully.
Yes.
So you can able to check whether that Nginx installed or not, whether that particular service started or not, whether the users we maintained, whether it is created or not. So all those things that you can able to verify, it should work, all those things.
How can we do for a database the same thing?
Database.
MySQL, something like that. If you want to create a database and connect to a database, like how we are
Connecting
installing the
to a database we don't do from the Ansible, but creating the database we can do. So by using apt only. Apt, how we can install the MySQL, you can get that command first. Suppose
Mm,
install, suppose let's say I want to install MySQL on Ubuntu, for example.
mm.
First you can get that commands handy, and then you can try to use that one MySQL. Suppose if they are using apt install MySQL server, right? So you can use apt module and you can try to use this package name MySQL server. And at the time of starting the service, you can see
Yeah,
uh,
system city, we need to start the service of that.
MySQL dot service. We have to use the service name
These
instead
are
of
like
using the
an ad
package.
hoc commands, right? The one that we were using, the sudo app, it's like kind of ad hoc command, right?
Yeah, we can use ad hoc or you can use the playbook also. Inside playbook, maybe you can use apt module and install the things. And to
Mhm.
start that service, definitely instead of service, right? Systemctl also there will be there module. You can use
Ah,
systemctl module
okay.
for that particular service.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a try tomorrow. Maybe do we have class tomorrow or else for practice can
Uh,
we take some more?
I'm thinking I need to complete this one in this week, but we have one more topic is pending. With that, we are completed everything. May take okay. Let me spend 5 more minutes so that we can complete the Ansible. So now we have already covered condition by using when condition. Suppose if anyone have any work, then you can drop and you can go through the recording. So so now already we used condition when we can use which task needs to get executed based on this when condition we can do that part. Okay, so inside the task only, suppose let's say I want to execute this task and I want to execute this command when this condition satisfied. When Ansible underscore facts OS family equals to Debian, I want to execute this command. Like that, this when condition, you can use it. So other than this when condition, there is a concept of loops is there. Loops is nothing but earlier we used with underscore items, right? Which is also kind of loop only. Here we defined an item. Here we maintained with underscore item earlier. Instead of with underscore item, you can use loop also. Loops are nothing but same task I want to loop for multiple arguments. Here test user one time, test user two one more time. Just instead of with underscore items, here they replaced as loop. So that task will get repeated multiple times. You can try this one. Instead of with underscore item, you can try with this loop. It should work. And the next one, condition, and one more, loops one, you can use like this. Otherwise, you can define some list here. Here you can see I defined some list and I want to do loop I used and condition also I used. Whenever the item value is greater than 5, I want to print that number over here. Okay, echo, and I am trying to print this number. So suppose first 0 it will consider. 0 is greater than 5, it is false, then it won't print. So similarly 2 greater than 5, false, it won't consider. So like that 4 it won't consider. 6, 8 and 10, it will try to print 6, 8 and 10. So whenever you want to loop something, so you can able to do like this loop plus condition they maintained over here. Okay, conditions with roles. If you want to use some conditions with roles, here I have given some examples. I'll give this documentation so that you can go through it.
Sure.
The last
And also,
topic
can
that
you
I,
please also share the link? Anyway, you and me
sure,
are
sure,
all
yeah,
only in this call.
sure, I'll do that. The last topic is tags one. So there is a concept of tags. Here I'll explain instead of performing one task. So tags also will be helpful. Why means, suppose let's say I have written a big playbook which consists of task 1 creation of the user, task 2 creation of one more user, task 3 creation of third user. Like this we have defined one playbook first time. So there you can define some tags also. At the place of name user, right? Same location you can add task. Don't define the tags at the arguments location. You have to maintain this at the this location, names location. If you can see tags I maintain, you can define whatever the tag name that you want, just to easily identify that. Suppose here I maintain the tag name as user1 for this task. For this task, I given the user2 as tag. Here user3 as a tag.
Which user
So
does means tag, like
yes,
which user the, for example, for easy identification.
yes, yes. So how this tags will be helpful means, so now I want to execute my playbook, but I don't want to execute all my tasks. Suppose earlier, if I execute my playbook, all the tasks will be performed, right? But I can control with the help of this tags, which task I want to execute also I can control. If you can see here, so Ansible hyphen playbook hyphen I host playbook name followed by, you can specify the tags hyphen tags equals to user3. If I maintain like that, it will try to verify user3 tag is there. So user3 tag is here. So I want to perform only this one task instead of performing all the three tasks. Only this one task will get performed. Suppose if I use user2 comma user3, so user 2, this one, this task get performed. User 3, this task get performed. So user 1 task will not get performed. So this is how the tags will be helpful. So which particular task you want to execute. If you write a big playbook, but I don't want to execute the entire part of the playbook, some piece of uh, playbook only I want to get execute. And defining only one tag is not mandatory. You can define multiple tags also. If you can see, currently I defined user one is the one tag and create another tag for the same task. So for user 2 and create. So means that create tag I am repeating for task 1, for task 2 and for task 3 as well. So what is the use of using the same tag for multiple tasks means, suppose let's say now I want to execute the create tag, then this task will get performed because create tag is here. So second task also gets performed because create task is there. Instead of using user 1 comma user 2 comma user 3, I can use directly create tag. So that will get perform all the second task, third task also. And there is one more task I maintain which should delete all the users. How I can delete? State equals to I maintained absent. Here rest of the cases I maintain state equals to present, but here I maintain state equals to absent. Because the absent here it will try to delete all the users. But here I use the tag name for this one is delete. So but repetition of the task, right? For that I used with underscore items also. Multiple things here we used. One is loops we used. Loops means with underscore items we used. Tags we used. Okay. So
Instead of
multiple tags also used.
with items, can you use a loop right here?
Yes, yes, we can use loop or with underscore items, whichever you want. So here, what I can do, hyphen tags equals to delete if I execute. Delete where it is there. Delete here it is there. What is this
So it
task
will
meant
delete
for? This
all
task will be
users.
a loop kind of task. It will identify these items. Suppose user 1 needs to be deleted. User 2 needs to be deleted. User 3 needs to be deleted. So it will try to delete all the users. Suppose hyphen tags equals to create if I use. Create tag
It
where
will
it
create
is there. Create
users.
is there here. Create it is there here. Create it is there for other also. Like that, three users got created. Suppose if I use hyphen tags equals to user one comma user two. At the time, user one task get executed, user two task get executed, but rest of the two tasks will not get executed because user
You didn't
that
define
particular
the
tag.
user three.
Yes, yes. This is how the tags will be helpful to execute some part of the playbook instead of executing the entire playbook.
Sure,
So
Manish,
this
got it.
is about Ansible, which we covered almost the tasks, that use cases, whatever I want that I have covered in this.
Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.